Good morning. Welcome. Barb Deshotel here with CIR Realty. Today I'm going to be talking to Nancy Ball. She's in Victoria, BC, and we're going to talk about the differences between the Calgary market as well as the Victoria market. And we'll be talking about some differences and what the average price is. We'll get into all of that. So this morning, like I said, we're going to welcome Nancy Ball. Good morning, Nancy. How are you?
Good morning, Barb. I'm awesome. Thanks. You?
Excellent. Weather is nice. We don't have any snow, so I'm quite happy.
That's awesome. That's awesome. No, I definitely know. I know that very well.
Yes, yes. So, Nancy, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, as you know, I've been a realtor for almost 20 years now. It's hard to believe. So I just tell people I started when I was age 12, and they don't have to know. But yeah, I started in being a realtor very early in life. I'm really grateful and I enjoy it. I got into that business just by getting into the real estate market my own self at 21 and learning all about the market and realizing I had a passion for it and I loved home staging, and that's my focus. I love both those things. I'm very passionate about them.
Excellent. So, young real estate. How old were you when you bought your first home, Nancy?
So I was 21 years old. So yeah, I was pretty young getting started in the Calgary market, and I bought a townhouse in Renfrew. So I'm sure you'll know it if I gave you the address. But Regal Park was the name of the complex. So it's just at the top of the hill there, and they're still there, and they have gone up in price since I bought it. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, Barb.
Yeah. No, actually, Renfrew is a beautiful location close to downtown. You can walk. So that's a great spot.
Excellent. I know. I was lucky. I was smart even then. No, I'm just kidding.
So what made you decide to go from Calgary to Victoria?
Right. So that's a great question. I do get asked that quite a lot. And number one was my health. I started losing my eyesight, the dry climate, and I found myself enjoying vacationing outside of Calgary longer than actually being in Calgary. And I'm like, what am I doing? I love the Calgary area. I love my friends and family, as you know, and I have a business still there, but it came to the point where my skin, my health, everything came in, my quality of life. And it was a big decision, very hard. But I'm grateful for every day. And the grass is green all the time here. It's very humid. So I'm grateful because my skin, my eyesight is a lot better. I don't have to use drops and silly stuff like that. I can go on and on. But yeah, it's unfortunate I inherited this health, but I'm grateful at the same time.
Well, I mean, Calgary, Victoria. I think that most people would pick Victoria as far as the weather goes, and it's definitely very dry here. So
yes, so that was the leading thing, yeah, and just quality of life. It's just so beautiful here. I'm so lucky. I wake up and everyone who's born and raised in Victoria, it's like, oh, it's gloomy today. I'm like, you have no idea. You're so blessed. You have no idea, because we're used to minus temperatures in Calgary and snow and ice and having to drive and deal with it. Here, they have it so easy, I think.
Yeah. Nope, it's true. Of course, they have it easier. They don't get the snow that we do. So,
Right.
Nancy, when you're not selling real estate, what do you do for fun?
So I am a singer. I have been in many choirs, and that's always something I've done for fun. During COVID, though, there has been many singing, so I haven't volunteered or done any choirs. But I enjoy singing. I love volunteer work. In the Calgary area, I have a seniors corner group, so I'm going to be visiting them in June. I'm so excited to see them. And I love volunteering. So here I'm getting more into volunteering. We have the Flames games in Calgary. Here it's the Royals, Victoria Royals. So I volunteer with Remax office for the Royals game. So that was kind of cool, and I got to sit in a little box. It was kind of fun. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So that's what I've been doing anyway.
I've known you for so long. I had no idea you were a singer. Well, when
Yeah.
we're done, we'll have to get you to sing some tunes for us.
I don't announce that, Barb. I
No.
just stay on the DL.
Oh, all right, I'll keep it on the DL. So tell us about the Victoria market. I mean,
Sure.
obviously it's beautiful out there, but I know Calgary, we have been crazy, multiple offer.
I
What are
know.
you
I'm
guys
loving it.
seeing?
Yeah, so the Calgary market, as I've been keeping track, it's been so similar to our Victoria market that we've had for a long time, actually. But I'm loving to see the opportunity for sellers and listings in the Calgary market and things going above asking. That's pretty much the norm in Victoria. It's the same issue is a lack of inventory and not enough place to build. Although in the Calgary market, they're expanding. I mean, past 22X, all this. It's great to see all the new homes being built there, and but they can't keep them. Like it's just moving really quick in Calgary. Same here. So when I look at the numbers, I mean, it's pretty shocking. It's known in Victoria to have an unconditional offer written quite commonly. So the latest numbers, if I'm going off the top of my head, there's 985 listings in the Victoria market. 527 of those, Barb, sold with unconditional offers just this past week. And then there's 763 new listings. So out of that 763, 527 were unconditional sales. Like it's nuts. So you really got to be on it in order to win your offers. I know Calgary's that it's going nuts there too, but this is the norm for Victoria and has been for quite some time. In fact, we're even less listings than this time last year. We had over 1,100 listings. So we're down by a quarter. So it's really hard for people. So they're struggling to list unless they know where they're going to move to. And I'm finding a little bit of that in the Calgary market, but not too much. You can tell me better, obviously.
Yeah, well, we're definitely seeing that. I've got a couple of clients that are looking to list, but yeah, where do they go? They're worried that they won't be able to find a home. And if they
Right.
find a home, how many offers will be on it? And can they do unconditional offers? We are seeing a lot of unconditional offers.
You are.
And I think what's driving our market is we've got a lot of buyers from Ontario that are moving. With this pandemic, we were able to work from anywhere. So if you can work from anywhere and purchase a property that's actually less in price, and still be happy and have a quality of life, unlike in downtown Toronto. I mean, you can buy a 500 square foot condo for $1 million. So
Oh, I know, right? Yeah,
yeah,
no, and I've been reading and hearing about that, people moving from Ontario to Alberta. So I thought it was kind of cool to see the drive up in Calgary. I was pretty excited for my real estate friends. I was like, yay. But
yes,
also felt bad for the buyers, right? The interest rates going up. It's very tough.
yeah, absolutely. I find that I've got I think three or four first time home buyers that I'm dealing with right now, and it's hard for these first time home buyers to actually purchase something.
Mm.
And when they find something, and we're offering 30,000 over the list price, and we're still not winning. What are your people offering? Like, I know there's multiple offers. I know they're doing it without any conditions at all. But what sort of price over list price are you guys seeing in Victoria?
So I'll tell you, out of the office, I hear little rumblings, and it comes out saying, "Yeah, this house was listed, and it's sold for 650 grand over the asking price." I was like, "That's insane.
Oh my God.
Who would do that, right, Barb?" But I mean, it is
Wow.
happening. That's very rare. So I'm just saying it was list underpriced, obviously. So
Yes.
I think there is some strategy where the sellers are trying to like get as many bids as possible. But then there's also the buyer burnout of just like, we're tired of these games. So, they're not going to like, there's people that are putting listings on and they're saying we'll have offers on Tuesday when we list it on Thursday. And then they're not getting anything because the buyers are like, I'm done with this. I don't want to keep overbidding. But yeah, I mean, if you're looking at an apartment or a townhouse, I mean, some are going 50 to 65K over asking price, Barb, and some are just about, most are about 50. I would say 50 on average. Just like the Calgary market, some are 50 grand. I've been finding out too, but it's very heartbreaking that you're putting unconditional offers and you're still having to pay 50K over asking just to win.
Yeah.
That's pretty hard pill to swallow. But then if you wait a year, the property values went up $175,000 in 1 year, and you're just like, oh my gosh.
So the 175,000 it's gone up in Victoria. Now, that's on average. Is that the including single family or is it single family only? Like,
It's townhouse slash single family on average, 175 to 200 grand over they
wow.
would have just by paying their mortgage from this time last year. So and that's BC assessment.com. You can go in and look at any of these if anyone's curious, but you just have to enter in the address. But it's quite eye opening. And so it's all about timing. If you get in the market, it's never too late. So your first time buyers, do it. Get in there, right? That's what I always tell people. Is it a good time to buy? Yes. You've got to get in before things go up and down. It'll work out, right?
Yeah, yeah. And then you're renting, right? I see we have a comment from our lovely friend Jessica Tabaratis.
Oh, Jessica, hello.
Jessica's a realtor here, and we're friends as well. And she's saying hello, hi Jess, how are you? Hope the morning is good. I've not been to Victoria, so I don't know if it's beautiful. But my niece lives in Victoria, and she loves it. My husband has been, but yeah. So now back to the market when
Yes.
it comes to multiple offers. So what's a strategy? What's the strategy when you're dealing with a first-time home buyer? It's not bad if you've sold a home and you've got quite a bit of equity, but if you're a first-time home buyer, you've just come to the market, what's a strategy that one's going to use when they put in an offer on these properties that are outrageously priced? I
Right.
mean, it is what it is, right? We can't change that.
Yes. So, with all the bids I wrote last year, I only lost twice. So you know me, Barb. I want to put our best foot forward. So I'm pretty competitive too. But I also honor the buyer's wishes. And I dealt with a lot of first-time buyers last year. And
Yeah.
so I learned what their pre-approval was. We made sure we had the pre-approval ahead of time and getting the pre-approval letter if we had to, writing a written letter to the seller. I'm sure you've done these strategies too. Any little thing, because a lot of times people will make decision on emotion, not logic. And so if you can find a way to have something in common with them as the sellers and compliment them and be sincere. Don't write something obviously that's not sincere, but explain a little bit about themselves. That definitely pays off. And then obviously putting money up front, even the deposits. People are taking a home equity line of credit out on their house to put $100,000 as a deposit in order to win these offers and get people to the table, because the deposit seems to be also an important factor, is the money down and showing that. And the first time buyers, we can get away with it depending on the purchase price. I mean, a lot of condos are probably around 600,000. It's so hard to find anything under $500,000 right now. When I was looking for a 3-bedroom place for there's only 12 of them on the market last week. I was like, oh my
Wow.
God, a 3-bedroom, so hard to find. And yet you'll see parents, single parents, or people just wanting a 3-bedroom, and it's really hard to find. So yeah, it's all those strategies. I'm sure you've used them too, while honoring the clients and getting that bid the right way. You're learning how many bids you're going to be competing against. Put your best foot forward. Find out what the move-in date that the seller wants. Find out, do they need to sell their furniture with the house? A lot of seniors here are looking to downsize and they have a struggle to get rid of furniture, whereas there's a lot of parents from out of town, Vancouver, the Calgary market, I've helped a few, their kids are going to U of Vic. They could use some of that furniture. So I literally wrote in the offer, we'll take the furniture if the seller's having a problem. And guess what? It worked. It's fun to figure this out. So I found it a good challenge, actually, to figure out what I could do to compete. I loved it. It was fun.
Well, absolutely. I mean, the less stress for the sellers, the better it is for your offer. So I like the idea, and I do the same, is finding out the possession date that the seller is looking for and work within that, right?
Yes.
So if you have to rent for a while or do Airbnb for a little bit, that if that's what the seller's looking for, use that to your opportunity, right?
Definitely.
And I think that's a brilliant idea. we'll do anything to try and get our first-time home buyers into something, right?
Yes, any buyer. But
Any
first
buyer,
for
yeah.
sure. But yeah, no, very good point, Barb. No,
Yeah.
no, you just got to keep on trying. If you lose the first one, get it. Keep on going.
Yeah, and don't lose faith because there is a house out there for you. Yes, I had a young couple. We wrote, I think, 5 offers. And finally, on Thursday, we got our offer accepted. They were so excited. So there
Great.
is a home for you. And we are starting to see, I don't know about in Victoria, like you said, the inventory is very low, but we are starting to see more properties come on the market. We're also starting to see a few properties that are depending on quadrant and of course how nice the property is. But we are starting to see some properties that are staying on the market. I'm going to say 5 to 10 days. I know 5 to
That's
10 days
long though. That's long
doesn't.
right now in Calgary. Yeah,
It
yeah.
is. It
I've been
doesn't
paying
sound like
attention.
a lot, but
Yep.
it is a lot. 5 to 10 days, as opposed to 0 days on the market. So that's very good.
Yeah.
So have faith. We're going to start to see some more properties come to the market. It's springtime. More people will be out and they'll be out putting the homes on the market for
Exactly.
us to go and take a look and win some offers, right?
Yep. You
Yeah.
got it. Yep. Same thing happening here, Barb. There's more listings coming on every week. It's just we're still lower than we were this time last year, and it's definitely taking a bit. And then people are trying to get in the market before the interest rates go up. Yeah.
Okay. So now, are you seeing a lot of people coming from Vancouver, from Toronto to your market? Like, what's driving your? I know it's always busy in Victoria because it's beautiful, and we have a lot of people that are wanting to retire here, right?
Yes.
So that definitely makes a difference. In Calgary, we don't see a lot of people coming to retire as much as we do in Victoria. But
Right.
what is really driving your market?
So yeah, that's a really good point. If you would have asked a bunch of realtors this time last year, we all thought, oh, people are coming from Ontario, they're coming from the States, they're coming from Alberta. But when they did the study this time, this just last month, it was 80% coming from the mainland in BC coming to Victoria. So it wasn't just people out of town. Realtors, we all think, oh, people are coming from, they were, but not the same as moving from mainland to Victoria. So we were really shocked as a brokerage to learn that when they did the numbers. And our broker manager actually did have the person who represents all of the studies of all the people, and there's a name for it. I can't remember, to be honest with you. I should know it, but it was a really long one, Barb. Maybe I'll know after a second cup of coffee, but I didn't know it off by heart even then. But yeah, it was a really cool name, and they studied all the tourism and how people got brought in here. But it was mainly coming from Vancouver, Surrey, Kelowna, coming to retire or just be on the island because it's a different quality of life that they would have. It's slower, is what I
Yeah,
meant. It's
yeah.
not as busy as Vancouver. Yeah.
Definitely. I'm quite shocked though. You said people are moving from Kelowna. I mean,
Yes.
if I'm retiring, Kelowna is like #1 on my list, right? So it's interesting that I, as an Albertan, would be wanting to retire in Kelowna, and the people in Kelowna are going to Victoria to retire. Why do
Yeah.
you think that is?
Well, it's a difference of weather. So we get snow for maybe 4 days out of the year, I would say, whereas they get snow much more there. There was more skiing, and it depending on people's businesses. So I help people move from there to actually open up a shop here that they have in Victoria. And so they wanted to get into the downtown core and start expanding their business and get those dollars because those cruise ships start coming here April 6th, Barb. So it's
Wow.
going to be busy with all the tourists. So they were trying to take advantage of this market and get in. So that's one example as to why. But I'm with you. I really love Kelowna. Lots to do there. It's beautiful. But that's one thing I have seen is it's a difference of living here compared to there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely the weather is more Alberta-ish, if you wish to
That's
call it
right.
that.
Yeah.
Lots of snow,
Exactly.
lots of skiing. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So now if we're going back to numbers for a minute,
Sure.
so I'm looking for a obviously there's no 3 bedrooms. You said that up at the beginning of our conversation. That's really hard to find. But if I'm looking for a 2-bedroom condo, as a retired person, what's the average price for that? And am I close to the water? Am I right, or am I a little bit away from it? Where am I?
Yes, you got to be. The one thing that I would really mention is I ask my buyers, how important is 1 bathroom to 2 bathrooms? Because that's going to be the major difference on what people are willing to pay. And because those 2 bed, 2 bath,
Yeah.
they sell for a lot more, Barb. So it's a difference of, say we're in the Langford area, which is just outside of Victoria. There's a
Okay.
difference of about $50,000 on the table that people are willing to spend for a 2 bed, 2 bath there. And so, yeah, I mean, you could find something for 600,000, but you would be paying more in the Langford area for something newer there. So you'd be paying 650 to even up to 700, depending if you get a parking stall or anything like that. But there's some good deals there with the new home builds. I've sold quite a few. And as long as you don't need 2 bathrooms or 1.5, you'll be able to get into that market a lot easier and for less money. I've sold properties. It's just getting in early. And those new home builds, there's not many of them, and they sell fairly quickly, and they're getting into the 700s already. And it's just like, for a 2 bedroom condo.
Sure.
So yeah, but it's all new, and depending on if you want to be near the water.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're willing to live in an older condo, Barb, you're set because not all of them are new here in Victoria. A lot of them are older that are near the water. We just took a tour yesterday along Beach Drive. Can't wait to show you that, by the way. It's pretty beautiful seeing all the tulips and the daffodils right now and the cherry blossoms. Oh, it's so great. And you can see these condos listed and they're selling in a day, and they're older, but people are willing to pay for the location, and they'll do some renos later. They're not worried about it, but you're paying prime rates just to be
Near
near
the
the
water.
water. Yeah.
Yeah. Which I can understand. Absolutely. I mean, most people want to be near the water. And if you're going to be moving to Victoria, that's one of the reasons you're moving there, right?
Sure. Although it's 10 minutes to the water, Barb, like depending on where you buy, right? I mean,
Oh,
if you're driving, I guess it's easier. But if you're not driving, then yeah.
10
That's
minutes.
how I
Okay.
look at it.
That's not a problem. I'm willing to pay a little bit less and be 10
It's,
minutes away from the water.
you're
That'll
getting,
save you quite a bit of money,
that's what I'm
definitely.
getting at. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Right. Yeah.
So our average sales price here in February was 499,400, or a benchmark price, pardon me. So
Right.
that's quite a bit different from Victoria, and that gets you, into a single family is 596,000. So single family, you can get into a single family for less than the 2-bedroom condo that you could buy in Victoria,
Yes.
and especially if you're along the water. Wow.
Do you
So
want to know what the single family homes are going for?
I'm not sure if I want to. I might fall off my chair, but yes,
I
that's
know,
huge.
but I'll tell you, it's 1.149 is the average price right now for a single family home when they did the numbers.
Wow, wow, and they're still selling. And are they at 1.149? You said?
That's the average. So to get in, that's the median right
Yep,
now that they're
yep.
seeing. Yeah, they've gone up. They used to
Wow.
be at 1 million, and in the last year, 1.149 is the price now. They just advertised it last month. I'm always studying numbers. Yeah.
Yeah. So are those, when they come up on the market, are they flying off the shelf with multiple offers as well at that
They
price
are.
point?
Yeah, especially if you're in the Victoria area in
Yep.
town. And then a lot of my clients want to get a suite. So that's very common, Barb. People want to be able to supplement their mortgage by having a secondary suite. So those properties right now are listing for 1.1. They were 950 last year.
Wow.
That's the difference in
Amazing.
pricing, and that's in a newer townhouse, so to know newer single family home rather. That's in the Langford, Colwood. These are newer areas compared to the inner core of Victoria. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. And at that price point, they're still going over asking price. Do you have an idea of what they may go over asking prices?
Yes. So I can always hear it around the office and who's got what. It's like, can you believe that place went for 90 grand over? That's insane. And we put all this, no conditions, we gave them everything. We still lost, Nancy. I was like, yeah. So they're definitely going over the asking. 100 grand easily is what's
Okay.
happening, just because people want to win, and they'll do what they can in order to get that price and then get that secondary suite so they can rent it out. But tenants are different here on the island compared to the Calgary market. So here it's 60 days, and then again, the tenants don't have to give back their last month's rent here in Victoria. So it's different in Calgary, where we do the deposit and everything. Here it's like, no, they don't. They get to keep their last month's rent here in Victoria. I was like, what? As a landlord, they get to keep money? What is this? So yeah, and it's really hard to get them out sometimes. When I've talked to other people, the tenants don't want to move, because if they move, they have to pay more rent than they would have being there already renting. So they want to stay because the rents. Do you want to know what the average rent is here?
Oh, I think maybe, yes. Let us know, because it's 1,400 here in Calgary.
I already knew you would know the answer. Yeah, I knew you would know. That's why I brought it. I already knew you would know that, Barb. So it's $2,500 here for the average rental here. Yeah.
Wow. 2,500. And is that an apartment, or is that a single house or a townhouse? What is it?
An apartment.
And it's apartment. Okay.
Yeah. Housing, you're looking at 3.
Okay.
Easily.
Easily. Now, you mentioned about buying with a suite in the basement, as you know, because you are from Calgary. We have struggled always with our secondary suite. Our previous mayor, Nancy, has really pushed for secondary suites. We still have, lots of things to go through. But I know most of Canada have always had secondary suite. Are these legal secondary suites? Like how, I mean, I know that they're older communities. Are they grandfathered? What's the requirement when it comes to suites?
There's no legal, like there's no legalities here. It's all over the map. It's kind of one. I know it sounds bad. I feel bad just saying that to you, but yeah, it's similar to what Calgary deals with. It's all over the place. The difference, though, one thing I really learned about Victoria is there's different municipalities. So there's actually 13, 14 different mayors for every municipality. So Victoria has a mayor, Langford has a mayor, Colwood has a mayor. And so Langford and Colwood would be like Airdrie to us in Calgary, if that helps you a little bit, just to understand everything's so close together. It's a 10-15 minute drive, same thing. And so they have a different mayor. So it's like, it's so interesting, all these areas, but it's Saanich is in Victoria. They have their own mayor. Oak Bay is in Victoria. They have their own mayor. I was like, what? You just go 5 minutes and you're in a different mayor, different rules. Oak Bay, you're not allowed any suites at all. Like they don't want any permits there at all. I know that for a fact. And then other rules, it depends. There's homes that are older. There's some grandfathering. If you can make any changes because of the historic side of the property, they like to maintain it here in Victoria. You do see that a little bit in Calgary, but not much. Let's be honest. They get rid of a lot of stuff in Calgary.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And then when we're talking about those, I know I have a couple people in Vancouver, and within those buildings, like the strata, the condominium corporation, you're only allowed to have 5 rentals within that complex. Do you have that same situation there?
So it's varied on each strata. And so the ones that they've really made some differences is the Airbnb or not. If you can Airbnb, and you're seeing that, obviously, if I had clients looking in the Canmore market, that was always something, can we Airbnb here? And I was like, no, they won't allow it, right?
Yeah.
And so we have the same issues here. Some buildings have no restrictions, and those do quite well with people investing in them, right? Especially from out of town. Whereas other stratas are condos. That's what they call them out here.
Yep.
It's the same thing, if that helps. Anyway, I had to learn that. I was like, what? Strata? So townhouses, a lot of people say no rentals. And the one I'm in, We're not allowed to have anyone renting it unless it's a family member, and
Oh,
very few. So you got to read those bylaws. One difference is all the realtors here, Barb, are held liable for the condo documents and knowing the information. We don't have any condo check or anything like that out here, really. So you
wow.
really got to be on it as a real estate agent. It's not the easiest. So you got to know your stuff. Pets, big problem here because they don't like them as many. It's really hard to get those pet approvals through. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So if you're looking for a building that you want to Airbnb, a lot of research needs to be done, as well as if you have a pet, a lot of research needs to be done. I think Calgary, are a lot more flexible when it comes
Exactly.
to Airbnb, and we're definitely a lot more flexible when it comes to having pets. A lot of the condo corporations, strata, if you will, that's what they call them in BC, like Nancy was saying. Here in Calgary, they don't mind having pets, but the pets typically, you have 20 pounds or less, or you're
Right.
going to have, you might be able to have one cat and one dog or two cats. So they will limit you, and they'll limit you on the size for most of them. But if you have a bigger puppy, there's a lot of condos that do allow the bigger puppies. It is a little bit harder to find, but they do allow them. So
Exactly.
that's good to find out, right? If somebody's moving from Calgary to retire, and usually, when we're older, we love our little pooches, right? So you're going to have to really look deep as far as that goes. You can give Nancy a call, and she'll help you out, of course, in Victoria. She will help you find the right place for you. Now, it's interesting. We have got like a month's worth of inventory, and we've gone like that's crazy. That's 55.9% less homes on the market than we typically have it. This was February's numbers, right? Of
Yeah.
course, we don't have March's numbers yet. It's not the end of the month, but
Right.
that's crazy. That normally we have so much more properties.
Two
That
to
is
three
one of the
months.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys have 2 to 3 months on average usually,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And Nancy knows the Calgary market, like we said, because Nancy worked in the Calgary market before, and she still has her connections in Calgary as well. She has her seniors group, and I believe your seniors group is Glenmorgan, right? Is that the Glenmorgan
You
community?
nailed it. You nailed
Yeah,
it, Barb. I love that. You studied it. I'm proud of you.
yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, so anyone in the Calgary can go. It's about 65 members strong, and it's celebrating, God, I think 16 years. It's pretty amazing. It's like, wow, I'm so proud of that. And so, yeah, it's only $5. Anyone in town, they just show up, and they're starting in April. So it's the first Tuesday of every month, and it's at the Glenmorgan Community Association, 4207 41st Avenue Southwest.
Look at that. She remembers it by heart.
Well, yeah. And I still have my real estate team, Alberta RE,
Yeah,
and they work for Real Broker now, as I'm sure you know. And
yeah.
they've been helping out with all my clients, still going strong. I've been helping a lot of buyers just this week, actually, and listings in the Calgary market. So that's why I know a little bit about your market. I've been keeping my ear to the ground.
Oh, yes, yes. And I think once you're a real estate agent, I don't think you ever leave that market. I know lots of realtors that are retired, but they still keep their finger on the pulse in real estate anywhere they go.
Very true, Barb. Very
Yeah.
true.
So now you said let's talk back to the weather. You said tulips are up already. And
Yes.
crocuses, what else is up? I mean, I've never been to Victoria.
I know. I
So
can't wait for you to see it, Barb. I'm excited. I was so excited when you called me. It was a year and a half ago, 2 years ago now. Wow, that feels like not that long ago. And yeah, the palm trees. I mean, if I'm having a bad day, I look out the window and there's a palm tree. I mean, it's so nice. And we're just so lucky. Everything's blooming, but the cherry blossoms, I cannot tell you how much that changes my attitude. It's gorgeous. It's just, I went down Moss Street. It's a very popular street near downtown in
okay.
the Fairfield market. And the whole block, I took a video of it, not very good. I'm not the best videographer, if I'll be honest with you. And we're driving. I wasn't driving. My other half was driving, and I'm taking all the cherry blossoms. I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. Different pinks. My whole phone is just full of cherry blossom photos right now. It's been really beautiful. And I never knew that. I have to be honest. I didn't think about it because I hadn't lived here forever. I'd been back and forth, and I never realized how many cherry blossoms they have here. So I get very excited about it. Obviously, I'm passionate about that.
Yeah. I've never been, but I know that I have like my niece, and I have people that
Yes.
I've known who've moved there, and they're always sending, oh, the crocuses are up. We have friends right now. Shout out to my wonderful friend Yan, and he's in Victoria right now. And I think he posted a picture of an owl yesterday that was just outside their window. So that's quite
Wow.
interesting. But
Yes.
we still had snow on the ground. I think Edmonton actually got a ton of snow. So definitely the weather is something to think about. Now, what if I'm moving to Victoria? And let's say that I'm not a senior, but I found a job, or I want to work from anywhere.
Yep.
What am I going to do for fun? Tell me some things that I can do for fun, and also perhaps what's the industry like? What's your big industry? As you know, oil is king here, but Alberta is getting a lot of tech companies. So I'm so happy that we can have oil and some other industries as well. So tell
Yep.
me what you do in Victoria.
Okay, so first off, for fun, I'll go into that, and then next I'll go into what the industries are. So for fun, it's so sunny here. In fact, Victoria has the most days of sunlight and sunshine and warmer temperature than anywhere on Canada, as I'm sure you know. And so you can walk every day of the year outside if you really want to. Nature walks. There's so much hiking here. There's so many paths to see. Obviously, the beach. I may have posted some videos on my Facebook page once in a while. And for fun, people love to do these hikes, walking. There's always events. This week, I went and there's everyone on their bike. Everyone's biking all throughout the year. It's very popular biking. You don't necessarily need to have a car here if you don't want to, although I like to have a car, but I'm not a bike person. I'll be honest with you, Barb. But you can cycle everywhere. There's so many places to see, and a lot to do for free here. There's lots of fairs, festivals. They're just starting up again, and it's so beautiful. And all the markets. So there's Moss Street Market for the food, and they have jams. And oh, I get so excited just thinking about all the fresh fruits and vegetables here. And so I can go on and on. And then the Inner Harbor, they always have something going on there. I can't wait for you to see it. And then as far as what industries are here, film and television, I can't tell you how many Hallmark movies are happening here all the time. They shut down the streets to make it look like an actual place that someone's doing a business. So right now, just 5 minutes down the street from where I'm living, Barb, they took this gas station and made it into a soda shop place where they
Wow.
have everything, and they're filming right now and
Yeah.
getting things going. And you're just like, what? So that's big. And then obviously they're building here. So if you're in carpentry, construction, anywhere in that, you'll get a job because they need hands to help out with trying to build. And then tourism, that's our number one, as I'm sure you know already.
Yeah.
Tourism is our number one thing, and that's been affected the most. And that's why having these cruise ships, they're shutting down parts of the street so they can get more people walking and using some of those shops that have, unfortunately, some are going under. Burke's downtown has been there for almost 100 years. They're closing shop, and it's been quite the thing seeing the restaurants starting to open up, and that's very big here. And then tech, as I know you guys have Amazon there, and now Tesla is going to be opening up, breaking ground here. They just announced that last week. They're building a
Wow.
huge a store. Everything's getting set up, not store, but yeah, shop and everything there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty exciting here. Lots of changes. And electric vehicles are very popular here on the island. Everyone I've brought over or seen, they're like, everyone has an electric car. There's chargers everywhere, and I'm like, yeah. And so yeah, it's quite different than the big tanks in Alberta.
Yes, I had a client who is from Ontario, and he commented that, oh my goodness, I've never seen so many trucks. Because of course, we're going to the field, right? We're going to the oil patch, so we need the big trucks, right? Whereas in Ontario, a lot of people, like you said, in Victoria, you don't need to have a car, so that's something to consider as well. when it comes to paying insurance, right? If you don't need to have a car, right? Insurance here has gone up considerably in Alberta. Insurance on your home as well as insurance, car insurance, right?
Yeah, and BC insurance is so different than Alberta, Barb. That's a whole other StreamYard show for you. I'm telling you. Wow. I can't even get into it, honestly. I'm going to get upset. It's a lot different, and it's privatized, and it's very different. And yeah, bringing an Alberta car into the province, that's something you really got to make sure. Safety checks, they're very strict on it here. And I had a brand new car, and I still had to get a safety inspection here just to get auto insurance.
Yeah. Well, I think you would still have to do that here in Alberta as well.
Probably.
Anywhere you come,
Yeah.
any province you come in, you need to do an inspection on your vehicle. We just did one for my son. It wasn't too costly here in Alberta. Anyways, I'm not sure what BC cost was, but I believe my son paid like, a couple $100, and that was reasonable, I thought. But yeah, so you're saying that the insurance is privatized in Victoria or in BC in general? Okay.
ICBC is very much the monopoly of it here. But the biggest news is the price of gas, as I'm sure you know. At BC, we pay quite a bit more. I actually made a joke about it on my post on Facebook a few weeks ago. The cars are fainting over the gas prices here. In Victoria, it's quite a bit higher. My friends are complaining 1.74. Oh my gosh, we were already at $2, Barb. Like, it was already higher than what you guys had. So, and you have the oil right there. It's just it's crazy on the island. And then we ran out of fuel actually just a few months ago. That's why having an electric car was really great. Because they didn't have to, but we were lining up for gas. We couldn't get it. There was gas shortages, as I'm sure you know, with the highway and all the flooding and everything.
Yeah.
Everything got delayed getting the island. And so fuel, we had Facebook groups they started of where gas stations actually had fuel. I had to wait 3 weeks to fill up my tank because I couldn't even, and then they limited how much you could even fill in your car. They wouldn't let you pump more than $20 or it was like ridiculous. So you had to keep being very careful with your driving. It was so crazy. It's just been an odd couple of years, right?
Yeah. Well, yes, the pandemic has certainly brought some weird things, and definitely the weather has brought. BC, you guys saw some really strange weather this year as well, right? So, or last year, I should say. Definitely things are changing. But I like the idea that, their electric cars are easy, and you don't have to have a car if you live in Victoria. Whereas in Alberta, you do need a car. You can't get from end to end. Tell me about the transportation in Victoria.
What you're going to tell you. So, I mean, it does help to have a car, I guess I shouldn't say, but the buses here are much better than the Calgary just transit system, from my experience, talking to lots of people. A lot of people are used to taking the bus here. Buses run quite often, and even late at night, like 11 o'clock at night, they're still running. People are still catching the bus all hours. We don't have Uber here, though, Barb. Have Uber. I want Uber, but you can get a cab here. It's fine. It's not the same. And they've been trying to get Uber here for a while. They've got Uber Eats, but they don't have Uber, and that's one thing I miss about living in Calgary. I needed to get somewhere really quick. I'd just grab an Uber if I needed to from the airport or whatever. But yeah, here though, it's cheaper to actually rent a car to go to the airport than pay the $60. And it's crazy. It's just, they just started charging for parking at the airport. It's $1 for every half hour. And I was like, that's nothing compared to Calgary, right?
Wow, $1. That's amazing. I mean,
used to be free.
Wow.
I know.
I have not parked at the airport in a while because I'm so cheap. I will go to the what is it? The park and wait, or kiss and ride, whatever they call it. And that's where I go.
Yeah,
and then I get my exercise and walk my things. But most of the times when I am on the, somebody will drop me off and rescue me, right?
Well,
I have never taken an Uber in Calgary, I must admit. I know my nieces do, but I have never taken an Uber. I always drive myself. So, but I have taken Uber in other cities, and I've taken lots in the US.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, I took advantage of it because my car was in Victoria and I was flying back and forth in Calgary doing both businesses, I needed Uber, and that's why
Yeah.
I got used to it. I guess I should say I was driving a lot myself before I moved out here. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine, and it's nice to actually somebody just picks you up at the airport, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
Uber's so nice. Everything there's always it's always something a mint or they're always so nice. Everything's always different than the taxi cabs I find. But that's just been my experience. Yeah.
yeah, okay. That's good. So tell me before we finish off, Nancy,
Sure.
anything you want to tell us about the Victoria market? Obviously, if you want to get a hold of Nancy, I will have her information. This is her cell phone number here on the screen. And if you want to get a hold of her in Victoria, so she can find you perhaps your dream place, or maybe are you retiring? Are you getting ready to retire? Do you need some special, questions answered? Nancy would love to chat with you. And like I said, she has the Calgary market as well. So if you're from Calgary and you want to move to Victoria, she understands your circumstances as well because she is a Calgarian, right? So
You bet.
yeah. Now, what is your social media handle? Where are you? If somebody wants to find you on social, where are they going to find you the most? I mean,
It's pretty easy with a last name Ball. I'll be the first one to make fun of myself, Barb. You can't miss it. It's it's up there. Yeah, so it's just Nancy Ball, or you'll see it's one of the first. It's the only name really that comes up. It's even my Instagram. It's Nancy_Ball. It's look at you, Barb. You're so
yeah,
on it. I love it. Look at you. You're amazing. Isn't Barb great? Barb is the best. So yeah, no,
thank
but
you.
you're awesome, Barb. So yeah, no, you can't miss me. You'll definitely see it. And I've got movewithnancy.ca is my Victoria website, and I'm always helping people. And I've got more news to announce later. I'm so excited. I just love living here. It's so great.
That's awesome. And Nancy also has a staging company that she works with. So if you are in Victoria and you want to, sell your property, and they're needed right now, Nancy will help you with the staging as well. And
I love it.
that's Nancy has staged for my clients. So I know that she does a fantastic job. So you can reach out to her for that as well. So go ahead, Nancy. Tell me, if I'm moving to Victoria, I'm coming from Calgary. It's cold. I've got my pooch. I know that it's going to be particular. I need to, certain buildings in order to get to my puppy with me. But what else does somebody need to know in order to prepare to move to Victoria?
Great question, Barb. I was going to bring it up, but I knew you'd probably ask me anyway because you're on it. One thing is healthcare here. It's very hard to find a family doctor. There's over 100,000 people that don't have a family doctor, and I was shocked to find that
Wow.
out. I had no idea. I had no idea Alberta healthcare and BC healthcare was completely different on the island. You would think, with how many seniors and the demographic, that healthcare would be a huge thing here, but it's a 5-hour hospital wait to get anything done. There's 2 hospitals here in Victoria, maybe 3, I guess, if you go to Central Saanich, but it's very tough to get a family doctor. What they do is TELUS Health is very popular here. They have an app, and you have a video chat with a doctor. That's how they
Wow.
do healthcare. It is amazing because the clinics are shutting down because of they could make more money doing the video than actually seeing people face to face, and they can work from home. So there's clinics. Just last month, 2 of them shut down, and that was shocking for someone who, honestly, I think I took Alberta healthcare for granted. I didn't realize it until I moved out here. No one told me.
Wow.
It's just a normal thing. Yeah, our family doctors retire, and no one takes over, and so the clinics close. There's walk-in clinics, but very hard to get in. It's lined up, and that was eye-opening. So that's one thing you definitely have to be in in uh, in the know about. And there's a waiting list. You can sign up and pay a couple of dollars a month for findadoctor.com, and they'll let you know if new doctors are accepting new patients. But that was pretty shocking. So that's one thing you got to know for sure
Okay.
is some people in Vancouver moving here, they'll hang on to their Vancouver doctor. that I've helped. And then in Calgary, again, make sure you're studying where you want to go and learning what's selling for how much. And that's why I've helped even CIR agents. I've been referred by 4 different agents now. I'm
Yeah.
so blessed. They've referred me clients out here, and I've helped their clients find places. But I made sure we were prepared and looked at everything, looked at their price range, and narrowed it down. Since there's not many properties to view, you have to make a decision pretty quickly. And sometimes if you sleep on it overnight, you miss out. And so I feel the same way you do. Wasn't meant to be. There'll be something even better coming your way, right? And
Yeah.
usually it works out every single time. So I never get people down on that. We will find the right one. I did the same thing for me. I was like, oh, this property. Oh, what am I going to do? Oh, I'll get it. Right. You just have to have hope. And now I'm in the place I never even thought this is even better than I imagined. It's wonderful. You just have to believe in that. And that's my attitude a lot of the time, helping people and getting it sorted. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So healthcare, that's shocking to me. I had no idea, but not being able to find a doctor that's that, especially our seniors, right? Because they're wanting to leave Alberta because it's cold and they want to
Yes.
go someplace where it's warm, right? And it's good for our arthritis when we get older. So something to look into is put your name on that waiting list if you're thinking about moving to Victoria. I know my sister-in-law is, they're thinking about it. And so I'll tell them, and she might be watching, to get their Alberta, or pardon me, get their healthcare taken care of, get on those waiting lists, right? So that you can get ahead of the curve, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Even then, you never know. It's just, you just gotta be patient and hope for the best, and maybe hang on to your Alberta healthcare.
yeah.
I'm just saying.
You
Didn't hear
never
it
know.
from me though.
You didn't. No, we didn't hear that. Oh no, I can't. It's live. I can't take that out,
I'm
Nancy.
just kidding. I'm just joking anyway.
And then in regards to just housing in general, I know you kind of point, be ready, be prepared. But if I'm coming there, financially, what do I need to? I mean, obviously, you're going to get your mortgage completed, right? But how much cash do I need to have on hand to make that offer?
Right. So deposit of 50K is pretty standard. 25 used to be uh, this time last year was pretty good, but you're seeing those deposits higher now in order to make your offer look more attractive to the seller. And also having 20 like, as you know, 20% down is going to save you the CMHC fees. So I try to encourage that. A lot of people, though, that I'm helping out, they have parents that are helping out. I'm seeing that a lot more with those
Okay.
down payments. And when the average house 1.149, and I mean the average condo is between 6 and 700. I mean, you really got to be on it. And then townhouses easily 800 now,
Yeah. Yeah.
easily. So that's
Wow.
a hard market to enter. So you really have to be on it, have that money saved up. If you, a lot of people do 5 to 10%, which is fine, especially first time buyers. They'll be really great about that. The mortgages, though, that's a good thing to point out, is the mortgages are handled different here. So I've had a lot of people move from other provinces. I've helped clients, they've never even met me. They just meet me through video, and
Yeah.
I've sold them properties through a video. And we had to write an offer and win. And I made sure I got everything that they wanted. And that's putting a lot on my shoulders. But I've been emailing them for months. And so that's what I would do, just like you do in your business, Barb. You set up a search, let them be in on what's happening in the market. They see something, they learn about it, and then they'll book a time, they'll fly out here, and I'll show them property for that weekend, and then they make up their mind, and we try and find an Airbnb for them for the short term so they can find something and put stuff in storage. That's another thing here, is storage, lack thereof. There's not many storage places to put things to hold
Oh,
it. I paid a lot of money into that too. Yeah.
okay, so the storage is short, the doctor is a little bit short, and you mentioned about mortgages being different. So
Yes.
that's very important. So tell me, what's the difference between the doing a mortgage in Alberta versus in Victoria?
So you'll love to hear this, Barb. They actually allow vendors to do assumptions of mortgages here. If you
What?
remember, yeah, I know, I know. I knew you were going to react like that. I'm sure Jessica's like, what? I'm like, yeah, I learned, I was like, what? Why would they even do that? It's not common, but they'll even do a trade here. So a boat, they'll trade a boat for like, they can have this place in the paperwork. I know. I was like, I would never do that because what happened in Alberta, we know we were both working in that market.
Yeah,
Assumption of mortgage. No, no, no. Here, that's a big thing that they could do. Not really common anymore, but the rates go up, they can make, that's a one advantage if the buyer wants to qualify. So I have an excellent mortgage broker here. He's wonderful. And in order to get these sales through, he's been an advocate for me and my buyers, is having all the documents lined up and getting those approvals ahead of time so we can write the unconditional offer that we need in order to win. I'm never a fan of doing that. Obviously, I want it subject to the bank, but we'll get all the information in advance with all the documentation that they need. But the condo documents are extremely different here, Barb, compared to Alberta. When I've dealt with the Alberta mortgage broker, they're like, where's this report? Where's this? And I was like, nope, they don't do that here. And he was like, what? I said, yeah, well, I can't finance it. I said, I know. That's why I got my mortgage broker here. He's on it. They're already approved. And the realtor at CIR was like, oh my God, Nancy, that was crazy. You saved it. I was like, yeah, I got to be on the ball. No pun intended, right? Like I got to know what I'm doing here to help out my clients to make sure we win. And so the clients had no idea. They're like, oh, I got approved for this. No problem. I said, yeah, different here on the island. They do things on island time, by the way. That's another thing to get used to, Barb. Whew.
Oh, island time. I am from Jamaica, so I know about island time. I should fit in there, no problem.
That's true.
Can I go and talk my Jamaican accent? Well, wagwan, right? What can I do? But I completely understand. And island time, they're a little bit, here in Alberta, we're very business oriented.
That was my point, right? Yes, that's where I was going with it. Yes, obviously, you understood that, but you definitely got me on that one.
Yeah. So tell the mortgage, you can do an assumption. So for anyone that's watching and does not know what an assumption is, basically what it is that you can assume, you can take over the seller's mortgage from wherever they have it. We used to have it in Alberta and they took it away in 2008. We had a lot of fraud, and I think that's why they did it. That was the biggest thing. I've always advocated for them bringing it back because you know what? It's a great thing for a buyer because if you're taking over someone else's mortgage, you're taking over. They've paid, let's say, 5 years into that mortgage already. And as we know, most of the times, your first 5 years, you're paying mainly interest on your mortgage. So if you take over someone's mortgage after 5 years, they've paid most of the interest, right? And you pick up from there. And it's a great way to save money as far as interest goes on a mortgage. So we don't have it in Alberta, but you can get it in Victoria. Wow, that's exciting. I might change my plan and move to Victoria because I can assume someone else's mortgage and save some of that, especially if it was a CMHC approved mortgage initially, right?
Right, of course. Although there's a lot of people, Barb, that don't have a mortgage anymore here because they bought at the right time and they're just living off the equity too. I've met some of those people. They have no mortgage. I was like, what? Wow, they're just living life. It's pretty amazing because they bought early, right? So it's quite eye-opening. But you make an excellent point about explaining that assumption of mortgage. Awesome job, Barb, as always.
Yeah. Wow, thank you. The other thing that we didn't touch base before we finish up is land transfer tax. We do not have this in Alberta, but we have it in Victoria. Tell me about that.
Yeah, excellent point. It's quite shocking, I will tell you. Everyone I have to explain it to, they're just like, what? I've heard of speculation tax when it's a vacant property. You have to pay for that, Nancy. That came out in 2018, again, to fraud and people leaving these properties vacant, and they wanted to make sure things are run properly and not take full advantage of this market going up and up. Land transfer tax, that's a thing that's been around for a long time. You have to pay it when you go to move. So when you buy here, you have to pay a percentage. So it depends on how much money you're buying a house for. It'll change. So if you're getting the millions, you're paying even like 2%. It's mind-boggling to me. So on average, I would say, Barb, you're looking at $12,000 to $14,000 extra on top of the purchase price that you have to allow. And so a great way to study those numbers is honestly using realtor.ca. You can put in their mortgage calculator and it'll show you what the transfer tax is, what your mortgage is. If you know your rate, they'll put in the day rate. And that was a great learning lesson for my clients moving from out of province, from Ontario, although they're used to tax there, but
Yes.
in Alberta, we're like, we don't have PST or
Like,
GST. What's this, right? They have it here. It's very expensive. It's called BC for bring cash. That's for sure. I'm sure everyone's heard that, but it's quite shocking. So I would plan on 12 to 14 grand on average to have it extra there, just on average for that average price. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So for all of my Albertans that are online, if you're not used to paying these types of taxes, the only tax we really pay here is the GST. So we don't have land for transfer tax, right? So the mortgage or the bank will not be asking for that, but you have to pay that up front. So if you're buying a house for 600,000 or condo, sorry, it's not a house,
Yeah, right.
you need to have that extra percentage, right, on top of your down payment. So be prepared for that. That's very important as well. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's good to know. Well, we don't have it in Alberta, and we're quite pleased that we don't have it. But be ready if you're going to, especially for those who are thinking about retiring or they want to work from anywhere, or perhaps you're in the film industry and you want to go out and get a job there. So be prepared if you're thinking about purchasing a home in Victoria. All right, Nancy, we have been on for about an hour, and I know lots of people have things to do. So. One last thought.
Sure.
Tell me one last thought. That's again what we need to do in order to prepare, and then where can they get a hold of you? Say your number. I know that we have it on the screen, but I want everyone to know how they can get a hold of Nancy.
Sure. So the best thing is to get a pre-approval. I would do that in advance. So got to know your numbers, and that everyone will tell you that, I'm sure, right? I thought I was going to be purchasing a certain price point, and then I got out here, and the expectations have to be lowered here because from Alberta, we're used to everything being newer and better condition, and you may not get that here for the same amount of money. It's usually a shock factor. The shock BC factor, the island. A lot of people don't spend money on their homes here compared to Alberta because the cost of living is so high here. So you'll see homes that, I mean, oh my gosh, they don't even need home staging, but they do, Barb. They need home staging and they'll sell in a minute and they need new paint, new carpet, everything. And that's how your market is now. You can sell it pretty quickly right now. You're in a good market, but we know it's not always like that. But it's getting prepared, knowing what you can get for your money, finding out what those taxes are. Even legal fees are higher here compared to Alberta. You have to look at, I was like, how much? I'm paying how much money for this legal stuff? Wow. And it's triple the amount of paperwork too. So I always make sure my buyers understand the paperwork because we only have so much time to write that offer. And so I want them to know what they're signing. There's a lot more jargon here. The paper is average offer is about 22 pages here, Barb.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. And so you really got to know what you're signing. And then again, being on top of it and knowing, okay, if there's not going to be any healthcare, what are my options and where can I go? And it's joining these Facebook groups. I'm learning a lot just by being on social media. I encourage my clients to really look at that. And then Airbnb, I would get in touch with VRBO. Airbnb, used Victoria is a site that's used here, no pun intended, to be looking at rentals to see what they can afford. Most of them do a 12-year lease. So it's very hard to find a month to month. And so I would help my clients out looking for Airbnbs. How about this street? They would email me, Nancy, what do you think of this street? No, do not rent on that street. That's not a good area of town. I want to look out for you. And so I'm really cautious in helping my clients get storage options too, if they want to put their stuff in storage while they're renting. I know storage is cheaper in Alberta because I did it, as well as to BC. Storage is a lot more expensive here. It's another mortgage payment, it seems. They can just charge whatever because there's not enough inventory, again, the same problem. So it's just having all these things prepared, and then finding out about your car, your vehicle, getting that insurance, and then taxes, how they're done here as well is different. So it's just all these things. It's definitely a lifestyle change. I've learned to maybe be less this and more, okay, let's get this going. They may not work on it right away. I have to let it go. But offers are presented at this time. You got to make sure you're not late with that kind of a timeline. They do take that seriously, at least I find. Okay. So it's just a difference of lifestyle here. But, you know, when there's weekends, a lot of people take a weekend here. And that's different in Alberta. I would be working all throughout the weekend. Here it's a long weekend. People actually rest and relax on a long weekend. It's really different, but I'm getting used to it. It's like, oh, my phone's not ringing on a long weekend. Weird. I'm not used to that. But people from Alberta, they'll be calling, Nancy, I got to get in. It's a long weekend. I said, yeah, get the ferry schedule. Check it out, because those book up too. And so you got to know what you're doing there. And yeah, there's a ferries app. There's lots of things I can help people out with. I've learned a lot of things here to help people out from moving from another province, even from Vancouver to the island. But hopefully that helps you a little bit. And of course, my phone number, you have it on the screen, 250-880-8818. And movewithnancy.ca is a great way to reach me. But you're awesome, Barb. Thanks for having me. You're amazing. I already knew it was going to go well because you're awesome. So
yeah, thank you. Well, thanks a lot for telling us about Victoria. Like I said, I've never been there, and I've got a niece that lives there, but I don't know enough about the market. And you've taught me so much in this time frame. So if you're thinking about moving to Victoria, don't hesitate. Give Nancy a call, or again, reach out to her on her website, and she will set you straight. For that, Nancy and I are going to dance it out. Thank you guys so much, and have a fantastic day. Let's go, Nancy.
I'm ready.
Yes. Thank you guys so much. Thanks, Nancy.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Take care. Bye, guys.
Love you.